bowling brings people together.
Right down the middle. You got it. Uh-oh. Good job.
See what you can do, man.
Oh. Wait.
That's a strike right there.
Connect with family and friends. Go bowling.
Well, good evening, race fans, and welcome back and a happy new year to you as we get ready to go with round number 4 for the Grand National Street Stock Car Series here for the North-South Racing League. My name, Upstate Al, alongside my good pal Kelly Dahl, and tonight we're down at Atlanta Motor Speedway, and Kelly, it's not the new Atlanta Motor Speedway or Echo Park Speedway as they call it in the real world. This is the old circuit, the worn-out surface where tire conservation is going to be king here tonight.
Yeah, tire conservation and just hanging on to the car, as traditionally the cars get very loose, especially off of turn 4 here at Atlanta. So expect to see cars get a little wiggly there and see if these drivers are going to be able to manage their tires over the course of this whole race.
It's going to be something to see as we get ready to go into qualifying. Let's take a look at tonight's race information, and it looks like this. We are in Hampton, Georgia. 81 laps or 125 miles, whichever you prefer. 50% fuel and unlimited tires in the pits, and I think that's going to be key for who wins tonight's race. I don't think it's going to be so much track position. It's about who can save and have the freshest tires come the end of 81 laps. It's a 1.5 mile racetrack here. There's no prior history, so we'll have a brand new track record for that. And someone will put themselves into the history books. But taking a look, Kelly, after those first 3 words, Ryan Johnson picking up 2 wins out of the first 3 races, finds himself just 2 points behind Mr. Consistency, Randy Nichols.
Yeah, points are very tight, and we're still not even at the halfway point of the season, so there's still a lot up in the air, a lot of opportunities for other drivers to make a name here and get themselves into the hunt, as while the top 2 are very close. Scott Austin, Guillaume Fortin, and Adam Gebel are not far behind, 23, 24, and 34 points back, respectively.
Yeah, and remember, there is no drop week that has been implemented yet, so this could even shake up a little bit more. But you see all of our great partners here for the North-South Grand National Stock Car Series. We want to thank them all. Mad Plowing, RC2 Graphic Solutions that has made these wonderful graphics that you are seeing on your screen. ZooFab Garage for keeping us tuned up with our broadcast trucks so we can make it to and from each and every race. J&D Farms, SimRacerHub.com, and of course us here at the Turn 3 Racing Network. But Kelly, just like that, we are getting ready to go into Al's Speed Shop Fast Qualifying, where we'll set a track record for the North-South Racing League and also see who is going to be on the provisional poll for tonight. As well, not really provisional poll, as we'll have our redraw coming up momentarily as cars start to populate the racetrack. The first one rolling towards the racetrack looks like to be the number 2 of Dan Janjanin, which will roll off of pit road and down onto the backstretch for the first time here this evening.
Yeah, we also have Chad McLeod and Robbie Clavey coming out as well, and looks like a few others, and Randy Nichols and Ryan Johnson also getting out early to start their laps, so we'll have to keep an eye on these drivers, see who's going to be able to get to the top, and it's going to be a little longer of a wait than normal here at Atlanta. We're so used to the short tracks here at the North-South Racing League. It's a little weird going up to one of these 1.5 milers, but we have now got Chad McLeod up on the clock here on the number 93, and we'll see what he can do in his first qualifying lap.
Nice looking paint job on that 93 as well. The Marlboro entry working down into turns 3 and 4 and right down up the racetrack a little bit. Got into those bumps. And that's one thing about Atlanta this tonight's going to be is this track is not smooth, has a lot of grip, and we'll see if someone, I'll call it the Kevin Harvick line, Kelly can wrap that white paint line all the way around the corner. That seems to be the fast way around. I think we're going to see 2 and maybe 3 wide racing all night.
Well, Chad McLeod puts up the first time and is at the top of the board, but Ryan Johnson immediately is going to jump him with a 29.987. So we'll see if anyone's going to be able to catch Ryan Johnson. Chad McLeod is coming off of turn 4. Let's see what he can do on that second lap. Might be a little faster once he gets some heat into those tires. Waiting to see the update. No, he will not go faster, so it will still be Ryan Johnson up at the top.
Ryan Johnson, Randy Nichols crossing the line for his second run. Nichols would go to the top of the board though with a 29.921 for Randy Nichols.
And Nichols going to the top of the board. Matt Cook about to finish his second lap, trying to improve on his 30.0 and waiting for the update. Will not improve, so he will be no better than 5th as a few more drivers come across the line. Adam Gebel going up to 8th on his first lap. Robbie Clavey looks like he is only going to do the 1 lap. He is not going to attempt a second lap. So we will have to wait and see. Looks like Adam Gebel has done the same. He has pulled off on the back straight, it looks like. So he will only put up his first lap. We've got a few other drivers coming across the line. Scott Austin completes his first lap. And it's a very slow one, so it looks like he's waiting to try to get some heat in his tires, and he will go here on the second lap.
And watching right now, the Guillaume Fortin in the 13 car, rolling through 3 and 4 to put lap number 1 into the books for the driver out of Quebec. Guillaume Fortin crosses the line, lap number 1, second quick for the 29.960, 29.960 for Guillaume Fortin. Scott Austin, second lap, going to put him into the J&D top 8 redraw with a time of 30.216.
Will that last, though? We still have a number of drivers to go. Travis Heffler and Dustin Shepard both coming across on their first laps. Not very quick from them, so they may be going for their second lap to be the fast one. And Brian Hacker to the top of the board, 29.912. He will beat Randy Nichols for the provisional pole. But we still have a few drivers left to go here. Scott Negus will run 6th quick with a 30.067.
Coming across here for lap number 2 is the 89 car of Shepard. And Shepard will go 5th quick with a 30.011, 30.011. How about Dylan Connor now? Jumping up to the 3rd spot in that number 90 car with a 29.929. So a very tight qualifying effort there. And I believe that's going to do it for qualifying. Only car not to attempt qualifying, who has been fast in Al Speed Shop qualifying, is the 21 of Jeff Bergner. And Bergner not going to put a time in, so he will start in P number 19 here tonight, Kelly. But how about that? Brian Hacker picking up his second Al Speed Shop time in the first of 2026 right here in qualifying, and he set fast time at North Wilkesboro as well for a pole time before we went into that redraw. So congratulations to Brian Hacker on grabbing the Al Speed Shop Fast Time Award, and we will talk to him momentarily as we get ready to go with the first redraw of 2026, and is being brought to us by J&D Farms. And J&D Farms, not your typical sponsor, just someone that loves the show, loves the league, and wanted to help them out and wanted to see his name on the screen. So we thank him very much. And J&D Farms for supporting racing, supporting the show, an official legend of the North-South Racing League. And that means we are populating our drivers for tonight's redraw. We've got our Fast Time Award winner, and the first time talking to him in 2026, the driver of the Austin Designs number 2. And Brian Hacker, congratulations on picking up the first Al Speed Shop Fast Time Award in 2026. Man, looking pretty good for someone that says these cars don't quite suit your style.
Yeah, I never raced here before, so kind of shocked, but we'll take it. It's doesn't mean anything for how the race is going to go, but I guess it means that in one lap we can be pretty fast.
Well, you are driving a Ford, so we know how I like my Fords.
That is true.
Yes. All right, sir. Well, making it into the J&D Farms Top 8 redraw. You get the first pick of the litter. What number would you like here tonight?
I rarely pick 2, so let's go 2.
All right, and you're going to wish you had, and that's going to relegate you back to the outside of row number 4, 8th starting spot for Brian Hacker. But a long way, 81 laps and a few pit stops along the way. What type of race do you think we're going to see here tonight?
Yep, I have no idea. Just along for the ride, so we'll see. Whatever the 38 and 69 do, that's what I'm gonna do, potentially.
All right, sounds good, sir. Well, congratulations on the fast time. Sorry, just blame J&D Farms for the poor draw, but we look forward to see what you can do out there tonight. Good luck.
Yeah, thank you. That's 2 fast times and 2 number 8s, so I'm off to a good start.
Brian Hacker going to roll off P number 8, Kelly, here tonight for the Peach State Classic. As you catching up with our second driver that from qualifying, and I believe that is going to be the driver of the number 69 of Randy Nichols.
Yeah, catching up now with Randy Nichols. And Randy, what are you feeling on this old racing surface here tonight?
I'm feeling like it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be definitely multi-groove and a lot of tire wear, so it'll be interesting.
Well, the number 2 has already been taken, so other than that, between 1 and 8, what would you like here tonight?
Let's go with 6.
Number 6 coming off the board, and you're going to be joining Brian Hacker in row 4. That is P7 for you tonight. Do you think you two are going to make a charge to the front of this field here?
Maybe, but at the same time, I kind of don't want to abuse the tires, so we'll just kind of wait it out and see what happens.
Of course, Old Atlanta, it is going to be a tire game tonight, so let's see if you can make them last and see if we'll be talking to you at the end. Good luck to you.
I appreciate it.
So Randy Nichols joins Brian Hacker back in the field, and they'll be starting 7th and 8th together.
That they will. So the back row taken already as we move now down to the qualifier from P number 3. That would be Dylan Connor. And Dylan, welcome to the J&D Farms Top 8 redraw. First of 2026. Happy New Year, but we're here at an old, worn-out Atlanta. What's going to be the key to get this 90 to victory lane tonight?
Yeah, this place I feel like it's going to be a little bit tricky. From practice, it feels like after about 12 laps, the right rear just decides to leave. So it'll be interesting, but at least I got a decent qualifying spot, but that may not be where I'll start, so we'll see.
Well, I got some good news for you. The back row is completed already, so you can. The worst you're going to start is 6th. So you have the numbers 1, 3, 4, 5, 7, and 8 to choose from. What number would you like?
I'm going to go with 7.
7. That's going to put you on the inside of row number 3, starting P5. Can you get it done from there?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's going to be a big strategy race anyway. I feel like almost every caution we get, I feel like everybody's going to come get tires, but we'll see, and hopefully we'll be there at the end.
I wish you the best of luck, and congratulations on making it into the J&D Farms Top 8 redraw.
Thank you.
All right, Dylan Connor going to roll off P number 5. Kelly, the pole's still out there. And maybe the driver from Quebec that you'll talk to next. You can grab it.
Catching up now with Guillaume Fortin. And Guillaume, it is the old surface here at Atlanta. Are you able to make these tires last on a run?
That's gonna be a response for after the race tonight. I've got no clue. So far, I've done like big run, but it's hard on the tire. You really have to take care of them.
Well, the good news for you is the pole is still out there. We have got 1, 3, 4, 5, and 8 left for you.
I'll take number 3.
He'll take number 3, and that is the right choice. Guillaume, you will be starting on the pole here tonight. So do you think you can maybe make those long runs work, or is it going to be are you going to hope for some quick cautions here tonight?
Oh, it's gonna be hard leading the race to make a pace, but hopefully I can make it work and stay up front tonight.
All right, well, hopefully you can make it work, and we'll be talking to you later. Good luck.
Thank you.
So Guillaume Fortin draws the pole here tonight, and he'll be leading this field to green, Al.
Yeah, up next, and congratulations to Guillaume Fortin for picking up that pole out of the hat. As up next is Dustin Shepard in car number 89, and Dustin making it back into the J&D Farms Top 8 redraw at a hot and worn out Atlanta. What's going to be the key for you to keep these tires underneath you tonight?
Trying to find that pace that lasts if it goes caution free. That's going to be the big. Who can find that pace on a long run is going to win it, I think.
All right, sir. Well, we got some good news for you. You can still get the outside of the front row. You can only start as far back as 6th. Numbers to choose from are 1, 4, 5, or 8. What number would you like?
We go 5.
5. That's going to be outside front row. So you and Fortin on the front row, you'll be able to keep that 89 up there and just hold at your pace.
We'll see. G's fast. Everybody else is fast too up here. So we'll see how long I can keep pace with them guys, and hopefully it's enough.
All right, good luck. Hopefully we're talking to you here at the end of this one.
Sir, thank you.
Dustin Shepard going to fill out that front row, Kelly, as our field is starting to take shape.
And I'm going to quickly catch up now with Chad McLeod. And Chad, the track surface seems to be cooling off a little bit. How's the grip out there?
Oh, we're going to find out. Seemed to be all right. It was a little slippery in practice, but qualifying, I don't know. I seem to be all right.
All right, well, the front row has been taken, but so has the back row. So your options are 1, 4, and 8. What would you like?
Let's take that number 4.
Taking number 4 off the board, and you'll be starting in 4th. So right on the outside of row 2. How are you liking that for a starting spot tonight?
I will take that. That is not bad for my first race of the season.
All right, well, hopefully you can make that in work and gain at least one more spot, and we'll be talking to you later on tonight. Good luck.
Thank you, boys.
So Chad chooses number 4 and starts in 4th, Al.
Yeah, that just leaves us with a couple drivers left to go, and we'll talk to the driver of the number 55 of Scott Negus. And Scott qualified 8th overall, but this 55 car looking to have some decent pace here in practice. How's the track shaping up as we get ready to go into tonight's main event?
It is slick as heck after about 20 laps of run. I think we get 24, 25 laps to a tank. So it should be real interesting at the end of a fuel run.
All right, sir. Well, we got some good news for you. You can either going to start 3rd or 6th, depending on what number you choose. You have 1 or 8 to choose from.
Let's go with 1.
1. It's going to be outside row number 3. P number 6. The outside, you think going to be an okay spot here tonight?
Yeah, I was doing a bunch of different lines, and it feels good in 1 and 2, but it doesn't feel good in 3 and 4. So we'll see what happens. Everybody's fast, so it should be fun.
All right, we're looking forward to this one, and Happy New Year, and glad to see you back here with the North-South Racing League.
Thanks, buddy. Greatly appreciate it.
All right, Scott's going to roll off there, Kelly, in P number 6, which leaves you with J.J. McCrae to tell him the good news of where he'll be starting.
Yeah, caught up now with J.J. McCrae. And J.J., here on the old surface, and the track has been a little bit hot, but seems to be cooling off as we get a little bit later in the day. How has the car been handling for you?
Handling pretty good. They're a little bit tight in, which is leading to loose off. So we're going to try and keep that under control as the tires start to go away after a few laps. It keeps getting worse and worse, so we'll see how we can make out with that.
Well, the good news for you, you don't get to pick your starting spot, but they left you a fairly decent one, and it's going to be the inside of row 2, a P3 start here tonight. How do you like that?
That's just fine. That's better than I was expecting.
Are you expecting the inside line to be the line to be in here tonight, or you think that outside line is going to come in?
I'd like to try and get up top. I prefer running the wall here, so I'd like to try and get up top and get some laps in up there.
Well, hopefully you can find a gap to make your way up to the top very quickly here, but good luck to you, and maybe we'll be talking to you later on tonight.
Yes, sir. Fingers crossed. Thank you very much.
So JJ McRae starts third, and that is going to do it for the J&D Farms top 8 redraw. We have got our field set tonight, and we are ready for 81 laps of action here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway.
That we are as we get ready to go racing. We want to thank J&D Farms for being our top 8 redraw sponsor. And the tip of the nod to the legend of the North-South Racing League. Well, Kelly, top 8 sits there ready to go. Ryan Johnson qualified inside the top 8. He'll have to go back to that 19th starting spot here on the grid. 81 laps. And these guys that you hear, very fast up front. It's all about that pace to get there. Say, make those tires last. It seems like to be a big concern on everyone's mind.
But it is going to be time to head to the grid here. Drivers are making the call. And we are going to get ready here. Al, you want to kick off our starting lineup?
That we will. As it take a look now for your Peach State Classic starting lineup. Starting on the pole here tonight in car number 13, it'll be Guillaume Fortin. Outside of him in the DCD number 89, it'll be Dustin Shepard. JJ McRae will roll off in P number 3 in car number 77. And outside of him, making his first start of the season, Chad McLeod in car number 93. Dylan Connor in car number 90 will roll off 5th. And outside of him, the number 55 of Scott Negus. Randy Nichols and Brian Hacker will make up row number 4. Row number 5 is going to be Matt Cook in there as well. Travis Hoffler and Josh Nelms slated to go off 11th and 12th.
13th is going to see the number 5 of Scott Austin, and the 73 of Robbie Clave will be starting to his outside. Row number 8 is going to see the 91 of Adam Gebel to the inside, and the 33 of Braden Campbell on the outside. Brian Troyer will roll off on the inside of row 9 alongside Dan Janjanin. Jeff Bergener will take up the rear of the field after not putting in a qualifying time. He will be starting in 19th, and right behind him will be the winner from a few weeks ago. That will be the 38 of Ryan Johnson, looking to charge to the field.
That's your 19-car field as they pace behind the iRacing.com Chevy Silverado as they head in the turns 3 and 4. 81 laps, 125 miles of action coming to you from Atlanta. Field getting ready to go into the restart zone for the first time this evening. Green flag up in the hands of our chief starter, Barney. Green flag is up and we are underway.
I'm getting a good start, and that is going to push him right out into the lead. Dustin Shepard not getting a fantastic start. Really, the whole outside line kind of checked up, and that has allowed JJ McRae to sneak through on the bottom there. He was saying he wanted to go to the top. He's not quite got the gap yet. Dustin Shepard now fighting back on the outside, coming down the back straightaway as Guillaume has a full view of the racetrack, getting to go all the way from the top to the bottom, running whatever line he wants. He is nice and free and clear, but look at the 69 car as he makes a move to the inside there through the quad oval.
Yeah, Randy Nichols took a look to the inside. He is going to move up into P number 4. Remember, he came in 2 points behind Ryan Johnson here in the standings. Is the 89, a little bit of contact, a little bit of flea flickering down the back stretch. Everyone keeps it pointed in the right direction. 2 by 2 they run behind Guillaume Fortin. Now they're going to think about fanning out 3 wide down through the tri-oval. Randy Nichols trying to get their nice door slam by the 89 of Shepard on the 69, and Nichols slowing up as his advancements is now JJ McRae made it to the outside. Nichols into the outside wall off of turn number 2.
And Nichols may have just damaged his car and may cause himself some issues a little bit later on. It's looking fairly clean on that right side. We'll see if he's maybe got a rub, but he was looking really fast. But That may have just killed all his momentum, as we now see Dylan Connor starting to close up on him alongside Brian Hacker. And JJ McRae running in second place, still getting a great run on that high side. So he was right when he was talking to us there during the redraw. That high side is where he wants to be, and he is closing in on Guillaume.
Good battle as Connor got the number 2 of Brian Hacker. Quickly working to the inside, and these drivers trying to get all the good out of their tires. As Shepard, though, rebounding back to the number 2 spot, and they have closed in on the 13 of Fortin. And Kelly, that could be one of those things where Fortin's, all right, I'm starting to get out there a little bit. Maybe I don't need to. There's more contact between Shepard and McRae. They bounce off the wall. McRae slow down the backstretch.
Chad McLeod saw the high side check up and jump to the bottom. He gained at least 2 spots there as he moves himself up past Brian Hacker and nearly got himself past Dylan Connor as well. But everyone's starting to get themselves back into momentum here, and Randy Nichols is closing up back on Dustin Shepard.
And something happening to the 77 of McRae. Looks like he is out of the race currently. We'll have to see maybe electrical issues on the 77 car after that contact with the outside wall. So one of the drivers that started up front, out behind the wall currently in the Peach State Classic. Here as they work there, Guillaume Fortin out front over Shepard, Nichols, Connor, and Hacker. Here top 5. How about Scott Austin, Kelly? Already up 7 spots, sitting in P number 6.
Yeah, Scott Austin has found that momentum. Did not have the single lap pace there for qualifying, but he has got the pace here in the race, going from 13th to 6th already and starting to close in on his teammate Brian Hacker, who is still trying to get up to Dylan Connor.
And it looks like JJ McRae back out on the racetrack, so the crew quickly getting the electrical issue fixed underneath the hood of the 77. Finds himself 2 laps down currently, but with any yellow flags, he might be able to get back on the lead lap here. As Ryan Johnson, last week's winner, or the last winner of 2025, your current high points man, starting to work his way up to the field, looking to take the 12th spot away from Adam Gebel as he works the bottom side in that 38 Wheaties mobile. As he works the bottom side, Jeff Bergner as well working from the back of the pack. He's cracked the top 10, and he's looking for more as he works up to the back side of Chad McLeod. McLeod in that 93 working the outside of the raceway, and already seeing 2 and 3 different lines formulating, Kelly, just 10 laps in to this race.
That high side is looking really good, especially coming off of turn 2. If you are able to just nail the throttle right, you can make that move. And here comes Randy Nichols on the high side. He's getting around Guillaume, and he is going to be clear going into turn 3. Guillaume going to try to fight back on the bottom side, get himself back up to the door of the 69 car. But that momentum on the high side is just too strong. Nichols going to get clear, and here comes Dustin Shepard as well. He's going to clear Guillaume, and Guillaume going to have to try to slot in and try to build that momentum back up, because here comes Dylan Connor and Brian Hacker.
That they are. They're working down here through the corner, up the racetrack. Oh, Fortin into the outside wall, still scrubbing the outside wall. Shepard was doing it as well. And look at the jumble up now here, as you got to wonder, maybe a little bit of an arrow push off of turn number 2, moving that race car up the racetrack. And Fortin very close to the outside, retaining all wall once again. Hacker to third now. Here comes Connor underneath them. Travis Hoffler in the number 1 car. He's working his way up to the ranks as well, as he finds himself in P number 6. Everybody still underneath the blanket. First to 18th, only 4 seconds separating them.
And look at Randy Nichols is already opening up that gap. He is running away from Dustin Shepard and trying to create as much of a gap as possible. Guillaume finally finding some control on his car, as he was looking extremely loose through 1 and 2 last time around, but now starting to look solid. He's pulled ahead of Dylan Connor, but Now here comes Travis Heffler. He's going to try to get himself involved. Oh, he's going to get loose off of turn 2. He's going to get the wall down the back straightaway, and that's going to kill all the momentum he had. And he is going to lose ground to Scott Austin and Chad McLeod and Scott Negus as well.
Yeah, McLeod had the check hit the hooks there, and here comes the 38 of Ryan Johnson. He's checked into the top 10 for the first time this evening in that good wrench number 38 Wheaties cars. He works underneath the iRacing Company wrench number 1 of Travis Hoffler. Hoffler working the outside, and when you work in the outside of the racetrack, Kelly, it looks like very small margin for error. Clipping the outside wall as Nichols has now opened up almost to a 0.7 of a second lead over Shepard and Brian Hacker. Those two drivers work nose to tail. Guillaume Fortin closing right back in. Now Fortin on the attack. He'll dive to the inside underneath Brian Hacker. 2 by 2 for P number 3 as they work off the corner. Scott Austin takes a peek, tucks it back in line behind Connor. And we're closing in on that pit gap. Oh, Scott Austin in the outside wall. He's sideways. Johnson sneaks by on the inside. Pit road going to become very busy within the next 6 to 9 laps. As we know, the fuel window is anywhere between 20 and 25 laps, and these drivers already screaming on the radio that they want tires.
Oh, big slide from Berger. He nearly got up into the door of Scott Negus. He's going to check up and lose some ground, and that's going to give an opportunity for Heffler now to try to get his or start his march back to the front. But Josh Nelms dives to the bottom, and that is going to completely cut off Heffler from going down to the bottom lane. It looked like where he wanted to go. Scott Negus and Scott Austin side by side across the line, and just in front of them, Ryan Johnson continues his steady march to the front. He gets underneath Dylan Connor, gets himself through coming off of turn 2. And even in front of them, another battle rages on. This one for second place as Dustin Shepard and Brian Hacker are still going at it door to door. Meanwhile, Randy Nichols is running away from the rest of the field.
He's opened up the gap to our largest gap of the evening with a 1.1 second lead over these drivers battling it out here. As Ryan Johnson goes to the inside, running that Harvick lane down at the bottom, right around that white line, and that's where he's been all race long. Finds himself in 4th. Now looking to track into the top 3 as he works underneath Fortin. Fortin to the outside of the racetrack is he'll give up the spot, and Ryan Johnson really gets a nice run through the middle of the racetrack. He's up into P number 3.
Johnson has found something along with Nichols, a way to save those tires as we get late on in this run. Those two guys are lightning fast as Johnson gets himself up into 3rd. Here comes Hacker getting the momentum on the high side. He's going to switch to the bottom now, coming into turn 3 side by side for these two cars. Is it going to be Johnson? Johnson sailing it right up to the wall. And a little bit further back in the field, looked like Berger may have caught the wall. And after using that high side, here comes Ryan Johnson like he's shot out of a cannon. Gets way ahead of Hacker, and now he's starting to get close up to the second place driver of the 89, Dustin Shepard.
Yeah, Johnson on the attack last time by. Your fastest car on the racetrack was the driver of the 77 of McRae, but a 31-1 for your race leader. To everyone else is 31 2s and 3s. Off the corner, we'll see this time by where your favorite driver is running, with Randy Nichols out front is Johnson from 19th to 2nd in 20 laps, Kelly. Pretty impressive stuff out of the driver to the number 38 of Ryan Johnson.
He still has to hope for a caution here to bring Nichols into his grasp, because that is a 1.4 second gap at this moment. But pit road will be getting busy soon. We've already had a couple of takers. Gebel and Cook have come down, but it looks like Cook is staying down there. He's been parked for over a minute at this point. Adam Gebel has just started to make his way out, and we'll see if any other drivers will be coming in very shortly here as the strategy starts to come into play. I believe Clavey is one of our first takers as well.
Yeah, Robbie Clavey coming down pit road. Adam Gebel as well has made his pit stop, so we'll see when our leaders come. We know we're closing in towards the end. Is now your race leader coming down pit road. Randy Nichols gives the race lead up as Ryan Johnson assumes control of this one over Shepard, Hacker, Austin, and Connor. And Nichols brought Bergner along with him down pit road, so I'd assume this time by we'll see some more takers up at the front of this one. In this pit road, very tricky to get on without getting a speeding penalty. You come off with some very hot tires, and it's easy to slide them. Here it looks like Guillaume Fortin will peel off along with Travis Hoffler.
And I don't know if either of those guys slowed down enough, especially Guillaume. He was had a big slide and coming across the line. Well, I think he was a little bit fast, but we'll have to see if he was fast enough for long enough, if he got himself a penalty or if he maybe got away with it. But that car was sliding all over the place coming into pit road.
And he overshot his pit. It looks like now the Austin Designs team, the number 2 and the number 5 coming down pit road, and they get woed up. So they're on pit road this time by, along with Dan Janjanin. Fortin overslid his pit, Kelly, coming in, so that's going to hurt him a little bit on track. As Johnson leads over Shepard, McLeod, Campbell, and Negus, who have yet to come down pit road.
And Johnson looks like he is going for the long run here. We'll have to see if he's going to come down. Yeah, here he comes this time. So he's going to try to slow his car up. And he's going to be followed by Dustin Shepard, who nearly loses it on pit entry. And I'm actually seeing a big dig through the grass there. So someone went all the way through the grass on the infield. I don't know who that was, but they definitely would have been nailed with a penalty. So that pretty much takes them out of contention. We also have Negus and McLeod and Connor down pit road. We'll have to see where these drivers will all come out. Looks like Braden Campbell is our last driver to come down pit road. He is still out there.
And he is going to come down this time by. It might be out of fuel as he comes down to the pit stall, as Randy Nichols will start. All these cars trapped one lap down will become untrapped. And Nichols I'll call it a short pit, was the first one down pit road. He's got over a 5-second gap over Guillaume Fortin, who takes over the number 2 spot, or will take over the number 2 spot. So Nichols with a huge lead over the number 13 of Guillaume Fortin. Some 4 seconds, Kelly. What an amazing job by the 69.
Yeah, he is cruising out there, and he has got the pace, got the strategy, and now he's got a clear track, and he can run whatever lane he wants. Meanwhile, the rest of the field really still bunched up quite a bit, at least for a few of these drivers up towards the front. Johnson is still under fire from Hacker, and they're looking to try to catch Adam Gebel as well.
That they are. So good battles still within here, as Randy Nichols would like to see this one stay green, as he's got a 4.4. A couple of housekeeping items. Jeff Bergner has taken the 21 chrome can behind the wall along with the 15 of Matt Cook. Both are being shown as out of the Peach State Classic here tonight for the first race of the Grand National Series for the North-South Racing League's return to action here in 2026, as Randy Nichols leads over Fortin, Johnson, Gebel, and Hacker, your top 5.
Johnson just got past Gebel, and now Brian Hacker putting some pressure on him as well. Gebel getting a little bit high there on the exit of 2, and that will kill his speed down the back straightaway. A good run for Hacker, and he's going to try to throw it up the inside into 3. He is going to clear him through turns 3 and 4, so move Hacker up into into 4th place, as Gebel will try to counterattack into turn 1, but he is just not quite going to have the pace to get there to the number 2 car.
You can see here, Adam Gebel was one of the first cars on pit road. Been out for 9 laps, so he's got the longest amount of time on those tires. And that might be already starting to see the little bit of difference between fresher tires. And I do believe 4 to 5 laps does make a pretty big difference here at Atlanta, where the tires get just shredded to pieces here on this big, fast 1.5-mile racetrack. As you can see, everyone pretty much going 22 to 25 laps, for the asterisk with Adam Gebel, who came in on lap number 20.
Our closest battle out on the racetrack right now is between Robbie Clavey and Braden Campbell for 12th place. Clavey staying ahead of that 33 car, and they've got Travis Hoffler, who is a lap down right in front of them. So maybe throwing a little bit of a wrench into this battle between these two drivers.
That they are, and all Campbell down to the inside. He led some laps here tonight in this race as we close in on the halfway point of the Peach State Classic. Campbell to the inside around Clavey in the RC2 Graphic Solutions entry. Sharp looking Toyota Camry as they work down here through turns 3 and 4 around Hoffler. And Hoffler might have had a penalty, Kelly, on pit road. Finds himself 1 lap down. McRae had to come down and pit to not catch that yellow flag. He finds himself 3 laps down. So right now, Travis Hoffler in the seat.
Ryan Johnson throws it up the inside of Guillaume Fortin in turn 4, and he will get himself up into second place as Johnson continues his fantastic night here, but still he has got a huge gap to go for a second win in a row as Nichols continues to lead by 4.2 seconds. Guillaume, getting a little bit slowed up. It looks like he had to lift to make sure he didn't get the wall off turn 2, and that's going to provide an opportunity for Hacker. He's going to sail on through for third place. And now Guillaume going to have to regather his car and get back at it to see if he can get back to the 38 and the 2 as those two try to run away from him.
Trying to find a way to catch up. It's 4 seconds, so they have chipped away at Nichols' lead. They have taken 0.4 of a second away from that lead as it continues to shrink. Hacker now around Fortin as well is the top 4 cars trying to chase down Randy Nichols, who's got a 3.9 second lead and out there doing a masterful job with that 69 car. Johnson came in with a 2-point lead over the driver that's leading right now, Randy Nichols, as they try to catch him. And Nichols could slow down, manage those tires a little bit, as we expect them to probably come in around lap 44 to 45 for the next steps.
And Nichols seems to have been slowing down here as he ran about 0.3 slower than Ryan Johnson on that last lap. And yeah, that is still the pace he is running right now, 30.7s compared to the 30.4 that Johnson is running. So either Nichols has lifted off and is trying to save, or there is something wrong with that 69 car.
Yeah, so maybe went a little too hard on this run as he has slowed down quite a bit, 29.83s. I don't see any damage to the car, Kelly, as it flashes here underneath the start-finish line. So maybe just a virtue of overusing those tires a little bit, but still out there running a pretty decent pace. His last time by ran about 0.2 slower than Johnson, but everyone else running the same lap times as him. So Johnson really has something figured out here at Atlanta.
And remember, Nichols did pit fairly early at lap 22. Johnson went a little bit longer to 25, so that may make a slight difference here. But that has gone even slower, 30.9 that time. That is 0.3 slower than Ryan Johnson, and Johnson has already cut about 1.5 seconds out of that lead that he had just a few laps ago. It is now down under 3 seconds.
It is now quickly. The gap is closing, and the gap between Johnson and Hacker starting to open up. So we're starting to get some separation here, and pretty soon we're going to have the field right back together. It'll be time for another pit stop. So do we see Nichols come down sooner than later if Johnson continues to close in? Now the gap has kind of settled at 2.8 seconds. Here working lap number 40. Nichols leads over Johnson, Hacker, Fortin, Shepard, your top 5 at the crossed flags. 40 laps are in, 41 to go. Gable runs in 6th, Scott Austin 7th, Chad McLeod is 8th, How about Josh Nelms in that 00 car up inside the top 10, and Dan Janjanin rounding out your top 10 at the halfway point.
McLeod battling alongside a few other drivers here with Scott Austin and Adam Gebel. I believe he just got himself past Gebel. And Gebel actually lost 2 spots that last lap. Oh, almost contact between McLeod and Austin in turn 3. Austin can go over the racetrack. McLeod going to wiggle off of turn 4 on the bottom. He's going to hang on to it. And at the line, he will be scored as ahead of Scott Austin. But now Austin going to have that high side through 1 and 2. And we've seen if you can nail the high side off of 2, you will fly down the front straightaway. And that is what's going to happen is, oh, another big slide from McLeod. And that's going to actually check up Gebel a little bit.
Gebel down to the inside, trying to get there as McLeod goes back to the outside, trying to get that momentum built back up on the outside, but Gebel will come down pit road to no surprise, Kelly. He was the first car on pit road last go-around through the pits. So we'll see if he can make some ground up at the race lead, 2.1 seconds. As you can see at the top of your screen, that orange 38 ever so closer, getting closer and closer to your race leader as he takes off another lap.
And his pace has really dropped. It's now up to 31.1, while Johnson and Hacker are still managing 30.9s. Guillaume running a fantastic lap there with a 30.8. I think that was the fastest through the whole field as the drivers continue to come down pit road. Robbie Clavey down this time by, but not too many other takers just yet. Oh no, here comes Randy Nichols.
Nichols coming down on lap gone 22 laps as Johnson will now take over the race lead. Hacker, Fortin, Shepard, McLeod, your top 5 is now Randy Nichols is the only car. Dylan Connor going to peel off the racetrack. He'll come down pit road for his second stop of the evening. How soon will we see other drivers pit as Brian Hacker will peel off this time by. And he locks him up coming to the pit road. Did he get him slowed down enough? That is the question. We will find out.
I think he did. I was watching him as he came in, and that speed reading hit the pit speed limit as he came across the line. So I think he just barely managed that. And as I was watching Johnson come down the back straightaway, it looked like there's smoke on the back straight. I have no idea who that was from. But now Ryan Johnson and Guillaume Fortin are going to come down pit road, and Guillaume once again getting in very quick.
He is as Shepard stays out with McLeod as your top 2 roll down pit road. So it'll be interesting to see how this all shakes out. Nichols stayed on the lead lap, or have raced by Shepard to get back on the lead lap. I believe Brian Hacker will be the next to catch these race leaders as they stay out on the racetrack. But look at the gap between Nichols and Fortin. The gap about 2 seconds, Kelly.
Yeah, Nichols getting another fantastic stop there, and he is going to have to try to keep ahead of Ryan Johnson, who has really been gaining, was really gaining fast on him at the end of that last stint. So we'll have to see if Nichols can really open up that gap once again early on here, as he has got a ton of pace as we have seen here tonight.
Yeah, I would assume we'll have at least one more stop out of this group that just came down pit road, as they came down lap 22 and now came in on lap 44 and 45. As we watch your race leader Dustin Shepard, it looks like he's going to come down pit road. He'll get the race lead to Chad McLeod. Oh no, Shepard all but straight coming to pit road, somehow holds on to it, Kelly. Nice save.
Not only holds on to it, but manages to get himself under the pit speed limit in time. So he has barely managed to make that. It looks like a lot of drivers are struggling with this pit entry. I mean, you mentioned earlier on that it is a difficult entry coming off of turn 4, trying to get in there fast, as Chad McLeod now will dip down onto the apron. And he'll also have a bit of a wiggle as he slows his car up. He will get himself in there with a little bit of a lockup. And that is going to hand the race lead to Braden Campbell, who once again is going to go as long as he possibly can.
Yeah, Campbell out there in the 33 car, your race leader. Unsponsored automobile is out front over Randy Nichols, Ryan Johnson, Brian Hacker, and Guillaume Fortin. As everyone will bypass the 93 and McLeod on pit road. Right now is now the 33 rolls on the pit road. And Randy Nichols will reassume your race lead here. So Nichols, gaggle of cars right in front of him, Kelly.
Yeah, Nichols has got a lot of traffic coming up in front of him here. Scott Negus, Brian Troyer, and Dan Janjanin all in front of him. So he's going to have to try to find a way through that traffic quickly as, he gets up and has to check up to avoid Brian Troyer, who is up on that high side. And that's going to provide an opportunity for Johnson to continue closing the gap, as after that pit stop, the gap had opened up once again to about 4 seconds, and now it's sitting at about 3.5. So Nichols still running a very comfortable lead as he continues to gain on a few more cars that are lap traffic here. He's got Heffler in front of him next, as Heffler's going to stay. He's going to get loose on the high side as Heffler nearly gets down into the 69 car. And he is going to maintain control there, but he's going to lose a lot of ground.
We're on board with Randy Nichols. 30 laps led so far tonight for the 69 as he's out front. Pacing this field once again, 3.2 seconds with 28 laps to go in the Peach State Classic for the North-South Racing League's Grand National Series right here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Ryan Johnson showing the way.
Johnson has got about 8/10 over Brian Hacker, so he is comfortably in second place as he continues to try to chase down Nichols. That gap now down to 3.2 seconds. As Hacker will now be sitting in third over Guillaume Fortin, who's about 4/10 back from him. So a lot of the field very spaced out. Guillaume then has almost 6 seconds to Gebel, who himself has about 5 seconds to Austin. So everyone's got a lot of space between themselves and cars they are battling for position.
That they do is we look at the on-time 91 of Adam Gebel. Runs in the 5th spot as we take and get some cameras on these beautiful paint jobs that these drivers have done. The number 5 of Scott Austin runs in 6th. Dustin Shepard started outside the front row, finds himself in the 7th spot right now in car number 89. Chad McLeod's led some laps here this evening as well. He sits there in P number 8, and Josh Nelms in the 00 is 9th. Rounding out your top 10 is Dylan Connors in the 90 car. And Scott Negus in the Blue Oval Racing 55 sits there in 11th. And Dan Janjanin, your last car on the lead lap, but he's got the race leader right there in his rear view mirror, runs in 12th.
And Nichols still dealing with lap traffic. He just got ahead of that 33 car of Braden Campbell, but Campbell is looking to get that lap back, looking to get himself into the lucky dog position to get himself in the lead lap if we were to finally have a caution here tonight. So that is going to pin Nichols to the high side, force him to stay on one line, and that may slow him up a little bit and may cause him to wear his tires just a little bit more as the gap, it continues to shrink. Ryan Johnson now only 2.5 seconds back.
Johnson really starting to close in as Campbell will go by, and not a surprise there to get back just one lap down. If the man plowing yellow flag were to fly, he would be the recipient of that free pass, assuming he would not be involved with said caution. But it's been green, all green, since the green flag came out here some 58 laps ago, as we'll have 22 to go at the stripe for the 69 of Randy Nichols, who's got a 2.2 second lead over Ryan Johnson, Brian Hacker, Guillaume Fortin, and Adam Gebel. Still your top 5 here, and Kelly, the 69 executing once again on pit road strategy, able to extend those leads by being the first on pit road each and every time.
Yeah, I think it's really his pit entries. He is flying in there, getting a great entry, getting a good stop in his box, and then that really opens up the lead, and then that lead is slowly shrinking as Ryan Johnson tries to catch up to him, but that gap still over 2 seconds here. But we still have one more pit stop to go, and that will be coming up in just a few laps here. We'll probably get our first few takers here very shortly, but Randy Nichols, I would assume, will not stop for about another 4 laps, I think.
Yeah, I think it depends on if you want to try the short pit it and get the speed on the tires. I think probably the sweet spot, about 15 laps to go. And as I say that, Scott Austin going to peel off and be our first car on pit road, as he will leave the 5th spot to come down and be our first taker on pit road with 20 laps to go. Gutsy call as Dan Janjanin also comes in. We'll see how this plays out, Kelly. But I like the call, trying to do something different. You have to do it if you have a chance to beat the 69 of Nichols tonight.
Wow, there is a battle for 3rd place going on. Guillaume trying to get around Brian Hacker. Hacker, though, defending on that high side and getting a fantastic run out of turn 2, and that will keep him in 3rd place for now. Guillaume going to have to try again. That was, I think, his 2nd attempt there to make the pass. Just could not quite make it stick either way, or either time. And now he is closing up once again. So we'll have to see if he can maybe try to run the high side here. But looks like Brian Hacker is running that middle lane right where he wants to be. That's forcing Guillaume to go down to the bottom and really try to push his exit there. That time he really gets a little bit loose coming off of turn 2.
Adam Gebel coming down pit road right now, as well as we watch this battle for that number 3 spot between Hacker and Guillaume Fortin. But Fortin gonna peel off the racetrack with 17 laps to go, and he locks him up, Kelly. Good. Fortin have made a mistake. Meanwhile, up front, that race lead just about under a second now. Ryan Johnson is coming. He's ate his Wheaties here, and he has started 19th tonight and finds himself into that runner-up spot with 6 seconds left, as Randy Nichols will peel off the pit road. He'll come down now as he slides on the pit road.
And that was a great example of why Nichols has been keeping that lead, as he comes in fast, brakes, basically stays up on the racing surface later than most drivers, and brakes hard, manages to come in just in time, not sliding at all. And I think Guillaume did get a penalty. Yeah, he's now in that box for 30 seconds, so he came in just a little too hot, and that is going to end the night for the 13 QC, at least end his opportunity at a good finish. Ryan Johnson now coming in, and he comes in hot. He locks him up coming across the line. Is he going to get a penalty as well?
That is all going to be seen. I think Brian Hacker also went out into the grass, Kelly, so it'll be interesting to see if the 2 gets a penalty, as Chad McLeod takes the race lead with 15 laps to go. Josh Nelms will slide in the 2nd. Adam Gebel leading the charge over Scott Austin, as those 2 are separated by about 15 car lengths on the racetrack, but those were the first 2 cars on pit road to get tires here in our last pit stops of the evening.
Oh, Nichols did not take 4 tires. He only took 2. His stop was only 9 seconds compared to Ryan Johnson with a 14, and pretty much everyone else at 14, nearly 15 seconds. So that is going to give Nichols a good gap to work with in these last few laps. Johnson going to have to try to push hard to catch up to him. And going back to an earlier point, yes, Brian Hacker did get a penalty as well, so he is back with Guillaume Fortin. 1 lap down, about in 11th and 12th, those two drivers. So that has taken them out of contention for those podium spots.
Yes, and once we have there is Chad McLeod, still your race leader over Nelms, and about 6-second gap between what we presume will be the battle for the win here tonight between Randy Nichols and Ryan Johnson. They are leading the crew that came in. Gable and Austin running in 5th and 6th currently. As we know, Chad McLeod and Josh Nelms will have to come down pit road. As we say that, Josh Nelms will peel off the racetrack in the 00. He comes to a slide on the pit road and is sideways. Will that bring out the mad plowing yellow flag? It does not, as he was on pit road.
McLeod will continue to stay out there, and he pit lap 50. He went longer than anyone else that did, and he is now going to come down under the white line here and come in for his pit stop, and that is going to hand the lead back to Randy Nichols, who is sitting about 5 seconds over Ryan Johnson. But Johnson has the advantage of all 4 fresh tires, while Nichols, I believe, only changed his right sides, and we'll have to see how much time that is worth. It looked like it's worth about half a second almost.
Yeah, so far it is about a 4.9 second lead with 11 laps to go, and right now you got to run these cars with your tongue hanging out, sweat dripping down your brow here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Randy Nichols, the dominant car all night long. A 2-tire stop. Does he have enough in the tank to hold off Ryan Johnson, who has took off 4/10 that last time by Kelly? 4.4 seconds is your race lead.
It was nearly a full half a second there. 30.541 compared to 30.048 for Ryan Johnson. That lap, the interval is closing. The gap is shrinking. Johnson is slowly catching up, as Nichols will now soon have to deal with Dylan Connor, who is a lap down but is running extremely quick compared to that 69 car. So that will probably slow up Nichols just a little bit more and provide an opportunity for Johnson, who is continuing to close that gap. That time it was 0.6 of a second.
0.6 race lead on a 3.6. Does he have enough time? The math says yes. Is Randy Nichols playing possum? Is he trying to save a little maneuverability in these general tires? We will find out as they come off the corner. 8 laps to go. Connor fighting back to get back onto the lead lap around Randy Nichols, and he will do so in the turn number 1. And as they battle, the race lead now down underneath 3 seconds with 8 to go.
Nichols is trying to hold off that 90 of Connor. He's actually battling back on the high side, and that may slow him up a little bit more, but he's not wanting to give up any sort of time and just let that 90 car through. He's continuing to battle on the high side, and that the gap continues to shrink. This time coming across the line, it is 2.6 seconds. As once again, it is 0.6 of a second as the per lap here for Randy Nichols. He ran a 30.7, Johnson a 30.1. So Johnson continuing to close that gap.
Johnson started back in the 19th position, has led 7 laps tonight. Can he get there? Can he get there to lead the most important lap of the race? He'll have 6 laps to do so in a 2.1 second gap. He might have enough time to get there, Kelly, but he's got to really pull it down to 1.9 seconds, almost 0.2 off to that time.
Connor got into Nichols and put Nichols into the wall coming off of turn 2. That's going to cost Nichols a ton of time and could possibly have damaged the right side of that car. He hit the right side off of 2 earlier on tonight, but he's had a few pit stops to bang out that damage just a little bit. But the 69 car having to fight against lap traffic here as Johnson continues to close in.
Johnson, 5 laps to go, 1.2 seconds separating your top two. Nichols once again into the outside fence down the back stretch. The handles going away on the 69, the driver out of Texas. Can he hold on for 4 more laps here tonight? That'll be 5 miles left of action.
The gap is under a second now, and there is 0.4 of a second between Nichols and Johnson on that last lap. So by the math, it will be Johnson right onto the bumper of Nichols very shortly here. As the laps are ticking away, Johnson is going to have to waste no time trying to make this pass as he's coming into frame here on the camera. You can see that orange Wheaties machine lurking back there as he closes up.
Got the battle box up onto the raceway. Right now, half a second, 3 laps to go. Did Johnson use the good in the tires to get there? He's got a lap car between himself and the race leader, Randy Nichols. This time off of turn number 4. The popsicle sticks will be up. It'll be 2 laps to go. And Johnson is there, knocking on the doorstep for the race lead with 2 laps to go. It is going to be a barn burner here at the Peach State Classic. Johnson dives to the inside. He is there. Can he dispatch a Nichols quick? As he's got to get around Connors. They call him up the racetrack. Connor into the outside wall. That allows Johnson to get by. Nothing but air between your top two. This time by the white flag will fly. 1.5 miles left to go here in the Peach State Classic.
0.3 of a second separate our top 2 drivers. We've seen Johnson be 0.3 or more faster than Nichols. Will he be able to do it on the last lap? He's getting closer here through turns 1 and 2. Coming off of turn 2, Nichols trying to run away from Johnson, but Johnson is just there. 1 more turn to go. Can Johnson make the move? He's going to sail it off into turn 3, but not quite going to be able to get Nichols. Nichols coming off of turn 4, still holding on to the lead, and a dominant performance from Randy Nichols, and he will win tonight at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, and he will take home the trophy for the Peach State Classic.
The battle for the number 3 spot. Adam Gebel is going to hold on to it. And Gable going to make it into tonight's top 3. Shepard 4th. Scott Austin 5th. Chad McLeod will come home 6th. Dylan Connor, Josh Dunn, Scott Negus, and Guillaume Fortin rounding out your top 10. And what could have been, Kelly, we had that last round of pit stops really shake things up with pit road penalties. And Randy Nichols burns it down here in Atlanta, picking up a win in his first of the 2025 and 2026 Grand National Series as he holds off championship rival Ryan Johnson. And an amazing drive by Johnson. We can't discredit anything that Johnson did. He closed that gap and was right there and made it a race at the end.
Yeah, fantastic drive from Johnson to go through the entire field and then close up on Randy Nichols, who was leading by, I think, over 5 seconds at one point in this race. A few times he was up there and still closed up right to his bumper and was only separated by 1/10 at the line.
An amazing finish here as we get ready to come into tonight's post-race show, being brought to you by SimRacerHub.com. And SimRacerHub.com is the place where leagues keep it organized, from schedules and rosters to points, stats, and standings. SimRacerHub makes running a league simple so drivers can focus on racing. If you're looking to track your league the easy way, check out SimRacerHub.com, the official post-race show sponsor of the North-South Racing League. And Kelly, we are working down, waiting for the 69 to park it, which he just did down here on on the front stretch. Ryan Johnson's going to bring the 38 there with him. How about Adam Gebel? His first podium of the season. We will talk to these three drivers, but the first one up will be tonight's winner, the driver of the number 69, Randy Nichols. And Randy getting unbuckled, hat going on. He climbs out and is victorious here, holding off Ryan Johnson. Well, you made things interesting there for us there, Mr. Nichols, and you're able to hold on and lead the most laps here tonight. Man, what a great run you and this team had.
Yeah, that was interesting. I can't believe I held Ryan off because he was catching me so fast right there at the end. I really thought people were going to take no tires or 2 tires, and it turns out Ryan took 4 tires. So I was just kind of praying that I was going to make it to the end, and I had enough of a gap. And yeah, I thought it was going to be like a Jimmy Johnson, Carl Edwards finish right there. But yeah, luckily I was able to hold on to it. So happy to finally get a win this season.
How nervous were you coming into those last few laps when everything settled out in that last pit stop? You had a 4-second lead, and it seemed he shrank that very quickly. And then once he got to you, kind of stalled out. Were you a little bit nervous for that last lap?
Oh, entirely. I was entirely nervous because it was just going to be a matter of what lane he chose and if I could block that lane. And I was so loose with 2 tires right there from that last stop. I mean, that was. I tried to, like I said, I took 2 tires to try to build a gap in case anybody took, no tires. And, he had way more grip, and I was trying to not spin it on corner exit. So, luckily him and Dylan kind of got into it a little bit off of 2. And I think that's probably what saved me the most. I think it was more so him trying to get by him, and he just caught him at the wrong time.
Well, a big momentum swing for you in the championship hunt. You came in just 2 points back behind Johnson. That's the good news. The bad news, next week we head to the Magic Mile, and you're going to have to start shotgun at New Hampshire, a flat track which historically is hard to pass at, but kind of more short track like that you guys are used to. What's your outlook thinking headed into New Hampshire next week?
I'm actually kind of looking forward to it because Ryan and I raced in another league, and we had a pretty good battle there for first and second at the end of the race. And luckily, that track is widened out to where you can run damn near up towards the wall and even down to the flat. So it should be an interesting race, especially with this car.
Well, we're looking forward to it, man. Well, what a great way to start off 2026 with a victory, and to be here in the post-race show presented by SimRacerHub.com. Who makes this all possible for the 69 team to be on victory lane?
Well, typically I'd always say shout out to my girlfriend, but she's now my fiance because we got engaged.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. So I gotta give a shout out to her, obviously, because even she texted me during the race and just told me to keep it up and everything. So she always helps me out, and it's the biggest motivation during these races. And then my dad watches all week in, week out, and then obviously thanks to you guys.
Well, congratulations on the win in a dominant fashion here tonight, leading I think all but probably 10 or 11 laps, which were all just when you came down pit road. So a very nice win here tonight. Looking forward to next week as you guys head to the Magic Mile. Enjoy this one, and what a great way to start 2026 off.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Randy Nichols, tonight's Peach State Classic winner, Kelly, and he held off the man that you're standing by with, the driver of the number 38, Ryan Johnson.
Yeah, here now with Ryan Johnson, and Ryan coming up just short here tonight, but it looked like it was a race full of action here. I mean, what was it like having to charge all the way through the field for you?
A pain. Yeah, man, I qualified, and then people were getting brought up for the redraw, and I was like, well, I wonder when I am. And then I started thinking, I'm like, oh, man. I won the race before I break, and it's like, yeah, that means I got an EOL. Especially here at Atlanta with no cautions, it was a challenge. Got a lot of fast guys here. I I was just trying to be patient, try and let the car and the tires and everything come to me. Finally made our way up, I think, towards that first pit stop, and a bunch of people pitted before me, and I was going to try and run a little longer, kind of run it out, see like how far we can make it. And well, it wasn't far enough to eliminate a pit stop. So by the second pit, I tried to get close to back on track with everyone else. And I'm just really surprised 2 tires did as good as it did. Yeah, I ran out of tire at the end. I caught him, but I couldn't do nothing. And with Dylan there, sorry to Dylan, I didn't mean to put him in the wall if I did. But yeah, a really good race, caution-free race, I believe. I mean, that was fun.
And with it being caution-free, I mean, you had multiple green flag stops, and it looked like it was extremely difficult to get down onto pit road. What was it like for you?
Honestly, I think I was way too easy most of the time. All except the last one, to where somebody took out the pit cone and I couldn't find where pit road started, so I guessed. So I might have lost some time there. But yeah, I mean, Atlanta here, it's difficult to get on pit road hot and slick, and wears the tires out, so you're just slip sliding everywhere. But yeah, I mean, I'm just glad we didn't get no speeding penalty tonight. I think a lot of other people did, though, unfortunately.
Well, even though you came second here tonight, it doesn't mean you don't have to get the EOL next week at New Hampshire. I mean, is that a little bit of a consolation for you, not having to cut through that field?
Yeah, definitely a little bit there. New Hampshire's a pretty narrow track, from what I remember. I haven't had a ton of races there, but yeah, it'll probably be a lot more difficult next week. But there may also be some more cautions next week, so that might help even the playing field a little bit. But we'll see. I mean, it's been fun so far, so just hope it continues.
Well, before we let you go here, Ryan, who would you like to thank for your second place run tonight?
Yeah, just got to thank all the admins at NSRL putting the league on. You guys have been the booth for broadcasting. My teammates after dark, and everyone tuning in and watching.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming out and talking to us, Ryan. Hopefully we will hear from you next week in New Hampshire.
Thank you, guys.
That was Ryan Johnson making the charge through the field, but coming up just short. A fantastic second place run for him, though. Al, I think you're catching up with our last driver of the night.
I am, and this driver had the hard charge of the night, and it is the driver of the number 91 of Adam Gebel, coming home in that third spot. And Adam, congratulations, hard charger of the race, up 12 spots. Here, he kept his car clean, and you're going to grab your first podium of the series here at Atlanta.
Yeah, it feels good to finally be on the podium and talking to you guys.
It's always a pleasure to talk to you. And, man, this race, green to checkered. We know that you guys are good, but Atlanta, one of those tracks where the car's not necessarily in the racetrack the whole run. What did you find difficult about running the style of car in tonight's race, along with just coming to pit road and not being able to get, or not being nabbed with a pit road penalty?
Yeah, here at Atlanta, we all know, like, old Atlanta eats up the tires, so it's like, you know, at first you can kind of go hard, but then you got to remember that you got to try to save your tires a little bit. Basically, that's what I tried to do in the beginning of the race. Went hard, backed off of it, and then decided to pit a little early to try to jump everybody and then force people down pit road a little bit earlier than what they wanted to be. But I guess that strategy worked pretty much the whole night for me. I kept short pitting, and then here I am sitting on the podium.
Yeah, a great finish here for you. And in these big tracks, something that we're not normally seeing here in the North-South Racing League, do you have a lot of experience on these bigger tracks that we're visiting? We're normally short tracks with the late model stocks or the super late models, street stock, those style cars, but now we're running these big full-fendered heavy race cars. How much of a driving discipline difference is that you got to wrestle around for this very short season?
I mean, yeah, you really gotta be disciplined with the heavier car. Like, can't drive it like you kind of late model stock, where there's times that you can just go balls out on it, and street stock is the same way. With this, it's like it takes a little bit of style. You gotta not go in there so hard, get off the throttle a little bit, kind of just let it just turn in the corner, and then slowly get right back on it and try to save your stuff as much as you possibly can.
Well, you did a great job with that. Next week, we head to a flat track, the Magic Mile up in New Hampshire, up in Concord, New Hampshire. What are you looking forward to up at New Hampshire? That's going to be more of a driving, more track characteristics that the whole field is probably a little bit more used to. It's going to act more like a short track.
Yeah, I think it is going up there. I know I don't have a lot of experience on that track. A few times that I have run it, struggled a little bit, but hopefully next week we can get ourselves back up here, maybe in the winner's circle, but we'll see what happens.
All right, sir. Well, congratulations on your third place finish here tonight. Who makes it all possible for you and your race team?
First off, I got to thank On Time Promos. If you're looking for anything for your business, your schools, your sporting teams, stuff like that, look us up at ontimepromos.com. Craft Industry Apparel, they deal with a lot of breweries and do a lot of apparel for breweries. So if you're in the brewery business and you're looking for people to print your stuff, look at Craft Industry Apparel. Also need to thank Austin Designs. Scott Austin does an awesome ass job on all of my paint schemes. He does a lot of guys in this league as well. And then the drivers. We wouldn't be here without the drivers in this league. It's a great field. Talent is awesome in this whole league. And then you guys as well as for putting on this amazing broadcast every week.
Well, we appreciate the kind words. When you guys put on great shows like you do each and every week, like you said, it makes our job a hell of a lot easier, and we enjoy doing this each and every week for you guys. Congratulations on your third place finish, Adam. Enjoy this one, and we look forward to hopefully talking to you next week at Loudon.
Yeah, hopefully you guys have a great night.
You too, sir. Happy New Year. Adam Gebel going to come home in P number 3, Kelly. And that'll do it for our post-race show presented by Sim Racer Hub, the place where leagues keep it organized. Well, another good one in the books here, green to checkered. And next week we head to a flat, tricky oval called New Hampshire Motor Speedway.
Yeah, New Hampshire will put on a fantastic race, and it was already surprising to go green flag from start to finish here at Atlanta. And New Hampshire will be even more difficult for them to do so, as it'll be a much tighter and more close quarters battle there on that racetrack. So we'll have to wait and see what that track will have in store for us, but I'm sure these guys will manage to put on another fantastic race.
I would concur with that. You can see where your favorite drivers finished here tonight. Only one not on that list was the 15 of Matt Cook, who was off early here with some mechanical issues on the 15. He'll be back next week, and so won't we from Loudon. For Kelly Dahl, I am Upstate Al. We thank you for tuning on in here tonight. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and get notification every time we go live here on the Turn 3 Racing Network, especially on Monday nights for the North-South Racing League. On behalf of all their partners, we thank you for tuning on in here tonight. We'll see you in turn number 3. Good night, everybody.